Lawwin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawwin Media Network.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Pink Table Talk by Dr. Carly D. Tune in and let's think pink on Wednesday. Come join as we are creating community through conversation. This is our voice. We're diving deep into powerful conversations that inspire, uplift, and empower. Season 2 of Pink Table Talk with Dr. Carly D. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pink Table Talk. I'm your host, Dr. Carly D. I'm a doctorally prepared nurse, educator, mentor, professional development specialist, and mother and domestic violence survivor and advocate. I'm happy to bring to you all inspiring stories each and every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Lawwin Media Network. You can watch us live either on our Facebook page or our YouTube live channel. And if you don't catch us live, you can catch us on over 18 different podcast platforms. So tonight is actually our Season 2 finale. We've had a wonderful season this year. We've brought to you so many wonderful, just great speakers, just heartwarming stories, incredible journeys, and just some wonderful and successful people. So tonight we have another fantastic guest, Janae Simonette, who is a business development professional and specialist who specializes in small business startups and also AI financial services. Janae is a serial entrepreneur and commercial operations specialist with over a decade business track record. She brings to the table a unique blend of process and automation expertise, entrepreneurial zeal, and corporate rigor. So I'm happy to bring to the show Janae Simonette.
Hello.
Yay! Welcome, Janae. I'm so happy to see you.
For having me. It's so good to see you, Dr. Carly.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you. For my audience, Janae and I attended Elmira College together. So
That's right.
it's,
Yes.
yes, EC, purple and gold. Oh my gosh, those days feel like so long ago.
Yeah, like I have to dig deep for those all those memories, but they're great memories.
Yes, all I can think about is all the purple everything
Yeah.
purple.
Something called Mountain Day, which was the best day of the year.
Yes, I love that. I do miss the EC traditions. They were really the best. So definitely lots of wonderful memories from EC.
Yes, definitely. But I'm really excited to be on the show. Thank you for having me, and look forward to a really nice conversation about kind of, what's really going on.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. I know you're such a busy woman. You know, you're an all-around superwoman. So I'm just so delighted to have you. I know you're going to bring such great inspiration and motivation to my audience.
Yeah, I will try. I mean, yeah, I'm super excited to dive right in.
Awesome. So could you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself and where you're from and where you're broadcasting from? Because I love where you're from.
Of course. So I am from the Bahamas.
Yay!
Born and bred, as we would say. I went to Elmira College for a while when I was about 16, 17. My first time really living outside of the Bahamas, and what's that, like 6-7 years later I came back, and I really kind of dived into my entrepreneurial journey. after college and work experience in the US. So all of my roots are really here in sunny Bahamas.
Yes, that's so wonderful. Yes, so right now it's like Christmas season, it's like winter time, but what is it like there in the Bahamas?
Yeah, so I mean, we're having a rainy, well, I hope it won't be rainy for Christmas, but we definitely having a few rainy days, which is unlike us, especially unlike this season, because usually it's pretty clear, getting a little bit cool, or about to get cool, but by no means is it cold. It's still like I'm burning up right now.
Yeah, us here in Houston too. So I miss the cold, kind of typical Christmas that I used to have in New York. So I'm still getting used to the heat of being in Houston the past 2 years.
That I could do with a nice cold winter as well, but hopefully very soon.
Yes. I actually spent one of my Christmases in the Bahamas a couple of
Oh,
years
really?
ago. Yes, I did a Bahamas cruise and it was
Okay, okay.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So I spent
It's
Christmas
a
on
nice
the
cold
beach.
uh-huh.
Yeah, at Atlantis of all places.
Okay, okay. So you know paradise then.
Yes, it was beautiful. And everybody there was so friendly and so nice. They were all calling me queen.
That's
Everywhere
good.
I went. Yeah, there was like, "Hi, Queen. Welcome, Queen. Come on in, Queen." I said, "Wow, what do I feel like a celebrity here?"
You know, right? It's like, is this where I belong?
Yeah,
Probably.
I was like, "Okay, maybe I need to move here and be treated like royalty."
Yeah, well, come on down. We'll
Yes,
we
definitely.
would love to have you again. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. One of my favorite places to be. I've been to the Bahamas a few times, and I definitely have to say I love Nassau. It's definitely one of my favorite places to go visit. The beaches are gorgeous, and yeah, I just that's where I want to retire. I want to go down there and live in the beauty of paradise.
Well, we say that Nassau is actually not where it's at all, right?
Oh,
Well, the Bahamas is, of course, a chain of islands, but we've got, I mean, Nassau cannot touch some of the other islands that we have, like Exuma,
ooh,
Eleuthera, Cat Island, even Long Island. We have
oh,
all of these smaller islands. I mean, Exuma is probably my favorite, right? You can take a
ooh.
boat out in the Exumas and you can literally go relax in the middle of the ocean on a sandbank. You can go to another island and see the iguanas. You can go to the another island and see the sharks, and then you can go and see the swimming pigs because that's become a big thing. And so, I mean, the beauty as you're island hopping is
Yes.
it's I I kid you not, one of the best experiences and something that is just like you'd have to see it to believe it, see the beauty to really believe that like you can see the bottom of the ocean wherever you go.
Wow. I know. That's what I love so much about it is the beautiful, clear turquoise waters. It's just so gorgeous and it's so warm and not like humid, like here in the States. So,
Yeah.
so speaking of Bahamas, I remember a few years back, you actually won Miss Bahamas.
Well, so I didn't win. I was Miss Bahamas Supranational, and
Hmm.
this was
Yes.
I was
Wow.
second runner up. And at the time, this was many years ago. Um, as Miss Supranational, I went to Poland for a month
Ah.
and competed, and I left there with Miss Personality.
Okay, of course. Yes, you do have a wonderful personality.
And yeah, so that was an experience. That was kind of my first international experience and exposure to the pageant world. um I would say it was a learning experience for me. It really taught me um a lot of the etiquette and the cultural sensitivities that you need, and of course I had to learn that in a different way in Elmira, right? Because
Yes.
it was one culture that I had to learn, and
Yes.
it was more of a crash course. Where this, I was being trained to really kind of walk the walk and talk the talk, and really navigate different personalities. Um,
Yes.
and but Elmira taught me amazingly for that, because I was in a group called Students in Free Enterprise, and
Oh,
uh,
yes.
that was a group that we had done throughout the school year. We had done things grounded in business ethics, in business communications, in entrepreneurship. So we'd spent the year doing these things, and then we'd go to a regional competition where we'd actually have to sit or stand and present to Fortune 500 executives and Fortune 500
Wow.
for 24 minutes, and we had to actually memorize everything we did. Like, we had to memorize a whole 24-minute script, right? And we'd say
Mhm.
it would be like five of us on stage, and we would know when to talk and when to step back. And we won. Elmira had won that every single year that it's ever competed.
Yes.
We made it to the
Mhm.
national, that on an even bigger stage. And it was after that that it was because of that I actually got my first job out of college, which
Yes.
was with Coty, which is a major beauty company. They have Sally Hansen. They've got all of the big perfume brands. Like they've got, I think they just got Kylie Cosmetics.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and
Wow.
so that was my first job out of college, and I moved to Minnesota. And
Yes.
so that really trained me to be on stage like this, but it was in a different way, but I guess my success in it was that I felt that I'd already had a purpose, um,
Mm.
in kind of being an advocate, or being a speaker for financial literacy, given that I come from a small country, so it's very easy for us to depend on these institutions for what we
Mhm.
need, when it's about what opportunities can we create ourselves by empowering ourselves to know
Mhm.
what's out there. And
Yes.
so I felt like through what I'd done with SIFE, I'd already had a purpose, so being on stage was pretty natural.
Yeah, I have to say, Elmira College did give us a lot of really great opportunities, and definitely helped us with a lot of great connections and networking. And I can say most of the people I knew had internships and jobs lined up, right before graduation. So I'm definitely grateful and thankful to them, for providing us with those connections.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so for the pageants, are the girls catty or the cat fights? I had to ask.
Um, so even then it was really it didn't benefit you in that setting to be catty, right? Like, if you were catty, then you were basically ostracized. And so nobody wanted to be that. So everyone tried very, very hard, even though it could be in a lot of cases very fake, but everyone
Yeah.
really tried to be like their nicest selves. And so I didn't really experience that cattiness per se, but I've met a lot of beautiful souls, and we still
Aw,
keep in touch today. Um,
that's nice.
and yeah, so luckily we are the start of an era where that just didn't make sense anymore. you know, um,
Yes.
I don't know what it is at Miss Universe. I didn't make it there, but on this particular stage it really didn't benefit you to do that. You almost had to create a whole alliance in order to really survive, because we're all young and trying to figure things out.
Yes. Oh, that's so wonderful. And I can definitely see why you won Miss Personality. You seem like you were
I'm
the
still trying
the
to
nice
figure it out.
one.
I was still trying to figure it out for a long time because I'm like, I'm so awkward. I'm
Yes.
so awkward. I'm so sorry. I'm so awkward. But this is me.
Yes. Well, we're going to go on our first commercial break of the evening, but everybody stay tuned for more Pink Table Talk with Janae Simonet.
Attention, food lovers. Get ready for a brand new culinary adventure with the Commissary Kitchen.
Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time or 9 a.m. in the Philippines for a live show that brings the best of the kitchen straight to your screen.
Presented by Lawn Live Stream and Podcast and produced by Lawn Media Network, we'll explore delicious recipes, share expert cooking tips, and bring you closer to the world of gourmet cuisine. The Commissary Kitchen, where every meal is an experience.
Welcome back to Pink Table Talk. We're talking tonight with business development specialist and pageant winner, Janae Simonet. So your specialty is in business development and startups. Can you tell our audience how can they start their own business? What do they need? How do they get started? What is your business blueprint as you have branded?
So, I guess I want to start by saying that it honestly is not one size fit all, right? I think that at the end of the day, if you are interested in starting a business and that's not your, like, some people would say, like, I never took a business class or I don't know, right? So, really, when you're starting that business, you're starting with, like, there's a problem that you're trying to solve, right? And
Yes.
this problem is more than likely something that you've been trying to solve for yourself. And you have, in your own kind of naive way, maybe that's not the right word, but very in your novice way, I guess, figured out a way that it can be solved, right? And I think that's a great place to start. And if you're able to start there, or if you're there, I think, like, that's the best place to be, right? Because to be, completely candid, that's, not being a business person, or being into starting businesses, you're really trying to solve a problem. So if you have a clear problem and you know that there are other people, or there's a sizable amount of people or a sizable market that also have this problem, whether they're in your niche or your group, right? Like, if you're a millennial woman that is now that has a toddler and now living this type of life,
Mhm.
versus, like, a millennial, let's say, single lady that now wants to travel, and there's a problem there. So, the problem might be rooted in what you're particularly through, and then that there are other women going through the problem, or other men going through that problem, or whoever your target market may be. And
Mhm.
so I think that's always an amazing place to start, because now you could really start to build on what that solution is and why that solution works for your particular group. And
Wow.
so, I'll give you an example. Um, I mean, there's so much, right? I think what's doing well now is the supplement
Yeah.
category, for example.
Yeah.
Um, at my age, I've now discovered that a lot of women my age are going through, like, hair thinning or some sort of hair loss, which I had no idea about. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, what is out there, right? And if there might be different natural solutions that might be out there, but you're like, that's not getting utilized in the right way, or it's not being mixed with the right things. And that ends up, that's a business idea right there, right? That's something that you're like, okay, if I can find something, like I've done the research on this ingredient, this ingredient, this ingredient, and together they can be a powerhouse for X. I mean,
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful place to start.
Yeah.
Once you kind of have that problem solution, right, and
Mhm.
you now have that kind of target market, like you've identified that this is a market that needs to be served. I think
Yes.
that's when you decide to kind of look within and
Yeah.
see where you really want to take yourself professionally and personally, and
Mm.
you're at the stage in life that you want to commit to this. I think that is, at that point is when you really do the reflection piece, I find. And I
Yeah.
find that through major trial and error, right? Because
Mm. That's true.
I've uh, I've made myself the serial entrepreneur, but I mean I have made a ton of mistakes in terms of
Wow.
trying to capture a bunch of business ideas, um,
Yes.
that I think, not that they wouldn't work, but they wouldn't work for me technically, right? And so
Mhm.
um, I end up being in another stage in life where it's like, well, how do I fall back and now get back to my core? So I think there is a point where you should self reflect and see whether you want to now um, take that leap, right?
Yes.
Um, and then once you take that leap, I would recommend,
Mhm.
if the resources, if it's possible, to find a mentor,
Yes,
because
that's true. It's very important.
everything after that point is going to be trial and error. Every
Yeah.
single thing after that point, because the truth of the matter is we're not experts in everything. We
Yeah.
are, like, we might know one thing. Marketing's
Mhm.
a great example. Marketing changes so much. It's
Wow.
impossible unless you're in marketing every day, all day. And
Mhm.
I am not, right? My background might be in marketing, but I know that um my finger isn't necessarily on the pulse of what's happening in digital marketing every single day. Algorithms
Mhm.
change, AI is
Wow.
changing the game. I mean,
Yes.
there's so many changes. I mean, um, and the amount of data that is available to people and the tools that are
Yes.
able to take that data and make it something are, I mean,
Mhm.
every day there's something new. There's a new tool you can
Yes.
use. You think you need
Yes.
it all, right? So I think
Yes.
at that point, a mentor would be helpful. And a mentor can be someone who simply has gone into a similar space that you're looking to get into. It's someone who may probably they've been in the same position and they also recognize that, hey, I don't know everything, but I can
Yes.
tell you who I needed to leverage to get things done, right? And that brings me to the next important point, is then understanding who you need to
Mhm.
get things done. You have to build it. You have to build your own little team at that point.
Yes,
Burnout
that's true.
is real. We try to
Yeah.
do everything all the time, but if this is
Yes.
something you want in your future and you think this is going to be something that's going to be sustainable for you, sustainable for your future and your family's future, you have to at that
Yeah.
point consider what resources you need. It may be, hey, I'm going to hire somebody to work X hours to do certain things that I need, or I'm going to find an
Yes.
agency. It really depends on the person. I've spoken to persons that's like, I prefer an agency. I trust their output because they've got kind of a group of people, and some people just is like, I'm not paying that price, right? Because you
Yes.
don't know what you want at that point necessarily. So having an agency may just be a unnecessary cost, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're just about to do everything yourself. My
Yes.
recommendation. Right.
Yes. I've learned that myself too over the past couple of years, because I am one of those like go-getters and, I'm just ready to take on and do everything all by myself. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, yeah, the past couple of years, I'm like, no, I need to delegate things. I need to get people to help out, and just even with little things, and it really makes a difference. And even for myself, I realized that it does take a team to kind of help you get to where you're trying to go. So, I definitely recognize that even in my own personal goals and career goals. So I definitely know that's important when it comes to starting a business.
Definitely. I mean, it's um I was moderating a panel the other day, and that was the overwhelming response from people that are way more successful than I am. That, hey, I've been able to build a team,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been lucky enough to have a business coach at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
the things that he taught me was that team must be you will need to find someone who is going to complement your weakness, right?
Ooh, I
Uh,
like that. I like that.
right? And so there's a framework called the Working Genius, and it's based
Oh.
on an acronym called WIDGET. And WIDGET is assumes that there's a wanderer, there's a inventor, there's a discerner, there's a galvanizer, there's the empath, and then there is the person with tenacity, right? That's WIDGET.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. That's really awesome. That's really
Yeah.
great.
And so I fall into the inventor and the
Oh,
galvanizer, right? So I'm able to create the ideas, and I'm able to really put all the pieces together, right? So what I'm
yeah.
looking for when I'm looking for a team is I'm looking for someone with tenacity. That's the person who's going to
Yes.
get the line for me, because well, I'm looking for a discerner, right? Because I have a million ideas all the time, and I need that discerner to say, Janae, eh, let's park that one, because this one is what we're here with. And
Yeah.
then that tenacity person, that person that's going to really take it over the line. And so I love that. I love the Working Genius because it really gives you a framework. If you don't want to just say, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are like me. I can't afford to get it wrong that so many times. So if I'm going to find one person, at least one person, I want that one person to really complement what I'm not necessarily good at. And
Yeah.
so so that's become one of my I guess biggest advice on this journey.
Yes.
And to your point, a lot of people get burnt out. A lot of people try to do it
Yes.
themselves. And
Yes.
then I start to mention, well, scalability, right? You
Hmm.
yourself only go so far, right? And what
Yeah.
is your like your financial goal? And if your financial goal with you one isn't enough, you have to figure out how to get more output with the same amount of input, you know? Um,
That's
and that's
true.
where scalability, and scalability really can mostly only come depending on what you do. You can buy more equipment, probably not the best use of funds, but you might be able to find
Hmm.
a supplier or someone outsourced to help you create output without getting yourself in a jam.
That's good. Should financial goal be the ultimate goal of a business, or should it be just solving that problem? What is your thoughts on that?
um I think that ultimately it's got to make financial sense.
Mhm.
uh you know, the worst feeling is that you're just bleeding, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
it would end up being, depending on what you're trying to do. You're going to spend
Yes.
money on something, right?
Yes.
And that's why I go back to the reflection at that point is important, because this is when you're really going to start to spend resources if you're serious about it. And
Yes.
so uh, while the problem is super important for, I think, for you, for your life goals, you've got to also have a financial goal, right? And when is the cutoff point? And how
Yes.
are you going to continue to grow the business?
Yes.
So I'm always going to say financially, it's got to make sense.
Yes. I think that's important too. And I think, yeah, ultimately, you do want to have some type of financial gain, in whatever business endeavor that you decide to go into.
Well, not, and it doesn't have to be immediately, right? You might say that
That's true.
I want to break even in year 5, right? So I understand
Oh,
that the first 5 years are going to be, really in the red, but you should have.
mm. Oh, wow. That's good. So we're going to go to our second commercial break of the evening, but everybody stay tuned for more with business development specialist Janae Simonette.
Tune into Legal Treats with attorney Eileen Ligote Dizon.
Every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Get your weekly dose of legal knowledge, especially on family matters like divorce, child custody, child support, estate planning, probate, and immigration.
Engage in discussions by posting your questions, comments, greetings, or shoutouts.
See you every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That would be Saturday at 9 a.m. Philippines. Don't miss out.
Everybody, welcome back to Pink Table Talk. I'm your host, Dr. Carly D. The show is produced by Lawin Media Network, and you can watch us live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on Lawin Media Network Facebook Live or YouTube, or on over 18 different podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and Google. Tonight, we're talking with business development specialist Janae Simonette, who is talking with us today about how to start up your own business, and giving us some key advice. So I wanted to just share with everyone, you are an all-around superwoman. You've done so many wonderful projects. You used to be on a talk show called The Stew.
Yes,
Yes. I remember when you had this show. It was so cute and fun.
it was a
How
lot
was
of.
that experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I it's a fond time in my life, right? I was, uh, it was interesting for me, right? Because we would shoot super early in the morning. I
Oh,
had a
wow.
full-time job. I was starting um, a business at the time as well, and so a lot was going on in this moment, right? So I would wake up super early for makeup. We'd be kind of shooting 7 a.m., trying to finish by 9 a.m. so that I can get to my job, and then, spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how to get this business up and running. So it was fun. Object in motion stays in motion. So I felt in motion all the time. Um,
Yes.
and we had, again, a very similar setup. We had amazing guests that would come through and talk to us about, topics, any topic under the sun. I was kind of the quirky one. Oh, who would have thought? Um, and
Aw.
kind of always off the cuff, and again, I was able to uh, flesh out my platform, which is called the Fab Frugal, which is now all of my handles. I have actually even trademarked the Fab Frugal, which is a platform around financial self sufficiency. Something that I don't really promote right now, but it's all about kind of the business side of things, right? Because financial self sufficiency today for me looks like diversity, right? So you might You have investments. You might also have a business. You might also have a full-time job. And so keeping with that, I mean, I'm not sure that, I don't know where the number seven came from, that seven streams of income, but having
Yeah.
multiple forms of, or multiple streams of income in
Yeah.
order to, be able to move with the market, let's say, right?
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, things go like this all the time. And so what is going to buffer or help you in the shifts that happen with time, right?
Yes. So true. We have a question from one of our audience members, from May De Vera. She said, "Did you ever fail in one of your startups? And if yes, what was the lesson learned?"
Yes. Yes, I happily say yes. I have failed many, many, many times in many, many startups. um, and uh, and I have absolutely no shame in it, right? Because for me, it makes me feel like I'm starting to get closer to really my sweet spot.
Yes.
But really, the lesson learned was some of the things I said before that. So so what I did is I pumped a lot into the product, right? I pumped everything that I had, all of my resources at the time, into the product. I wanted this perfect product, and I forgot all of these other aspects of the business, and I ran out of steam. I ran out
Wow.
of steam, I ran out of resources focusing on the product, right?
Wow.
And um, most of my startups are in technology, and one thing that we get caught up with in technology is we want the perfect product, and we realize that, and it's something that I preach a lot, is that focus on iterative, right? You might not have everything up front. You might not be able to get all
Yes.
of the features together when you launch, but
Right.
if you have a solid problem that you're trying to solve, you can
Yes.
get it to what we call a MVP, minimum viable product, and be
Hmm.
able to let the customer start to um, dictate the next steps instead of you sticking with your understanding of what the perfect product might be. Get it
Mm-hmm.
to the MVP stage and
Mm-hmm.
understand that everything is going to be iterative. Um, and so at that point, I pretty much failed because I had the perfect product in my mind, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get that validation from the customers, and I probably didn't have a big enough, although the market told me that it was big enough, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It was a new behavior that I was trying to promote, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of new resources. So to
Wow.
answer the question, I mean, I've certainly failed on my startups, and there have been a lot of learnings. That's only one example that I've given you. I've got several more, but they all came with different learnings.
And I like the fact that you haven't given up. You still keep going. You still keep creating and keep developing different startups, even though you have had those failures. So I think that that's a wonderful thing for people to take note of.
Yeah, I mean, I love to create. I love to build, right? I like to say my alter ego is the builder architect, right? And so seeing things come to life is something that I try to get away from, but I can't, right?
Yes,
So it keeps me going.
that's wonderful. Now, you wrote an article back in 2023 that discussed customer experience trends in the face of mental health. I thought that was really interesting. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that and what it means?
Yeah, I mean, so we we're bombarded all the time, as you know. We're bombarded with so much
Yeah.
information, so much pop-ups, and like offers here, offers there, get this now. And I think that what it's easy to neglect the fact that we're a lot of us are very anxious. A lot of us are dealing with a lot of
Yes.
stress in our
Yes.
everyday lives, and then we go to on the retail side, or we're shopping and we just get overwhelmed there and we don't realize why, right? And
Yes.
so I do think there should be a movement to consider how our messaging will impact certain personality types and certain uh, lifestyle or situational elements, and be able to tailor our or just be recognized or be cognizant of the fact that our messaging also impacts and infiltrates someone's
Yes.
um mental
Yes.
health, right? And so when
Hmm.
you're saying act now, is that, although yes, it's proven that that might be one of the call to
Hmm.
actions that really get things moving, but
Yes.
is that the healthiest way to get the message across? And so that really was trying to start the conversation, at least on whether, as customer experience professionals, as professionals that want to build a sustainable customer workflow, if we're just trying to sell a product, or are we understanding that we're selling a product to a human being, or selling
Yeah.
a service to a human being, and is that human being element being neglected?
Wow. Wow. That's so interesting. I never really seen anybody try to connect, a customer's experience and what they're going through with mental health. There's such stigma around mental health. But I feel like our generation, we're really pushing for mental health, and, developing more healthy behaviors, because we realize the importance of having stable mental health, and having therapy and counseling and all these things, and actually considering it. So I thought that was very interesting that you put business and mental health together. So that was really awesome, and a very interesting article.
Yeah, I I'm because I love the customer journey development. Um, I also recognize that, some establishments I go into,
Hmm.
there's such a lack. There's just no regard for the person in front of them, right? And
Yeah.
so, and then that causes stress and anxiety, and we think that that's just going to pass, but how much of that really sticks with the person you're affecting or you're talking
Yeah.
to?
It's so true, especially with social media, and then the younger generation, like I think it's the 14 to 24 age group. They say they're most highly influenced by social media. Their mental health, I would say, and all the products and images, and things that they're seeing, affects them mentally, in this, that age group. So it's definitely something that people need to be more cognizant, and take responsibility in. Don't just throw things out there.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So we have another question from May De Vera. She says, if there is a product you are to choose out of all of your startups, what would it be and why? I guess that's out of all your startups, what's your favorite?
So uh, I can interpret this question in two ways. So I will try to answer in two ways, right? Where do I
Mhm.
see opportunity? Um, I see there's, I guess, low hanging fruit in understanding the applications of AI for certain uh, I guess for certain tasks or daily things, right?
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
getting a bit saturated, but I do think that there's an opportunity to think or find the white space in it, and saying what is
Yes.
something that people really go through on a day-to-day basis that AI can solve. Um,
Yes.
so one of the things that I'm building, and I currently have out right now. It's called Open Word, and Open
Oh,
Word is it is a so it uh, let's say it takes the most search terms on Google, right? So
oh,
you pick a topic, it will search
okay.
the most all of the questions that are asked around that topic. It
Oh,
determines the
interesting.
those questions, and then it will generate an article to answer the question that you want to answer out of the
Wow.
top question,
Oh,
right?
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so it's not the first. It's definitely not the only article generator out there. I mean, you can go to ChatGPT and do something. You can do the
Yeah.
same thing, but the unique aspect of it is that it reduces a step, right? So if I want to know um like if my topic is surfing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it will automatically generate all of the questions that people are asking about surfing online, the top
Wow.
250 questions about surfing. And then you can
Well, that's
choose to write an article answering that question. Um,
mm-hmm.
so when you post that article, then, and the people that are asking the questions were more likely to see your article because the article now has been written for SEO friendliness and so on and so forth.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. That's so interesting. I feel like there's so much right now with AI, from businesses to even in education and healthcare. So it's definitely a growing field. Yeah, definitely. I see a lot coming in the future with the AI movement.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the medical field.
Yes.
It's just it, a lot of people are scared, and rightfully
Yes.
so. Um,
Hmm.
However, if done right, you're in some instances you're cutting the some of that research time in
Yes.
half. So
Yeah.
you're getting to some of that hopefully getting to some of the answers a bit quicker because you're able
Yes.
to do that research in half the time than you were before.
That's great. That's awesome. So we're gonna go to our last commercial break of the evening. But we'll be back with more Pink Table Talk with Janae Simonette. So everybody, stay tuned.
Join us for a captivating new series where Lon sits down with the trailblazers of the music and entertainment world. Discover the stories behind the faces and voices that shape our culture and community.
We will bring you exclusive interviews with industry legends and rising stars. Behind the scenes insights and get a peek into the creative processes and personal journeys. Artists and performers and their upcoming shows and events.
Stay tuned for more updates and sneak peeks. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel.
Beyond Health and Wellness Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. Let's explore the journey to holistic well-being. Listen to insights that inspire a healthier, happier life. Uncover. Empower yourself. Take charge of your well-being. Whether you're looking for tips on nutrition, mental health, or fitness, this show is for you. Beyond Health and Wellness. Every Friday 8 p.m. Central Time, that's Saturday 10 a.m. Philippines.
Welcome back to Pink Table Talk. Tonight we've been having a wonderful conversation with Janae Simonette. So, Janae, recently you've done a panel or a conference. Can you tell us more about this conference here?
Yeah, for sure. So the Bahamas Exchange, which is called BizX, um, uh, kind of the equivalent to our NASDAQ or kind of trading house. They hosted their first event called InvestFest. And I was able to moderate a panel with some young entrepreneurs. So You've got Rexy Roll there, who is a powerhouse CEO, and I think she's the legal head of legal for a Bahamian airline.
Oh,
Um,
how nice. That's cool.
she's incredible. I had another powerhouse, Gandhi Pinder, who is a media powerhouse here in the Bahamas as well. Um, she's been running kind of the marketing campaigns for some of the biggest companies here. We have I was able to interview the 33-year-old CEO of the Bahamas Development Bank.
Wow.
And then and the even younger chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank, like really young um, men and women that are just really breaking barriers.
That's
So our
awesome.
discussion was around again the business aspect and managing and balancing being, because being like I know Gilbert, he's got a young newborn. um
Oh,
they're all kind of again in that same position where they're managing very demanding lives and still need to figure out how to have a personal life as well. So it was a really cool discussion on what they're going through, how they're connecting the dots, and
yeah.
where they see the future going.
Oh, that's awesome. That must be such a fun experience for you too, to just be a part of that and to be around all these amazing people, you know. Speaking of work-life balance, you are also a wife and a mother, and you have a fabulous traveling. I'm always seeing you traveling, posting these beautiful pictures from around the world. So tell us, how do you manage it all? How do you handle it all? You got businesses, you got a little baby at home, you've got a husband. How do you do it all?
Yeah, so yeah, this one is interesting, right? Because one of the our biggest business, I guess, is Sign Island, which he and I co-founded in 2017, and is doing
Oh,
really well. So I mean, he's really running the day to day on that. I've got all these other kind of things and projects and businesses going on. We have a toddler.
yeah.
Um, who
Oh,
was severely premature, as you know.
yeah.
Um, and so uh, the balance is not. I guess when you think of balance, or if you have an image of balance, that's the my balance is like here and then here, and so it's I think it for me it's blocks, right? There's some
Yes.
points where I do completely block out certain things just so that I can focus on kind of the what I need to focus on, right? And um
Yes.
one thing that my husband and I do really really well, probably too well, is that we uh we have fun, right?
That's
We
great.
don't
I like to hear that.
neglect the fun part, right? So we do go out on dates a lot, and we do um we just don't neglect that part, and
That's wonderful.
that just makes life a little bit easier, because we're not neglecting the fun part, and we purposely do that because life could get super serious. It
Yes.
could really be busy. We could be on the computer all night, and sometimes we can do that, right? I mean, I don't think you can get away with that most times. But
Yes.
um, the for us is that we're always we figured out like where we want to invest in our like our pleasure, right? And so one of the things is that we one night on the weekends we have a nanny, but that's a luxury. Like that's something that we
Yeah.
want to purposely say we're going to do this, right? Because we
Yeah.
want to have this part of our life so that we're sane, right? We don't want to go insane and then crash.
Yes.
So, um, but that was a real deliberate decision for us to do, because we could also decide, we could have decided we can't invest in that right now. We're going to put it over here, or we're going to save something, or, but for us, it's like, what are we living for if we can't enjoy ourselves? So that's how
Yes.
we go
That's
wild.
wonderful. Yeah. And I think it's so important and healthy for people to do. I seen, like you said, so many people burn themselves out, whether they're working just a 9 to 5 or starting businesses or, have a healthcare career. You have to make time for the fun. And I love that you guys do that and you travel and you just, you take a break, and I think that helps. And it keeps you fresh too. I feel like for me too, when I take those breaks and I have that fun, I'm able to then go back and give that 100%, to everything that I'm doing. So,
That's right.
yes,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Janae? What's any upcoming projects or any new ideas? What's coming up for Janae in 2025?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got so much. I got a ton of
I'm
things
sure.
going on. I mean, exciting projects. 2024 was really a year of rediscovery for me, right? And so now next year is really about honing in on kind of the core of what I want to do. And so I got some passion projects going on.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
in September, the Bahamas passed the it's the longevity and anti-aging bill, which is kind of improvement to the STEM therapy bill of 2013. And
Hmm.
uh, with that comes a lot of opportunity to help modernize what that looks like, for treating aging as a disease. And if
Ooh,
companies come to
interesting.
the Bahamas and promote medical tourism here. So there's some exciting projects on that side that's going on that I'm really looking forward to learning, because I mean, I'm not in the medical field per se, so I'm really starting to learn about the bill, reading through the bill, understanding, what opportunities do exist for the country for medical tourism, and how, people with, cancer, for example, can benefit from this new bill and be able to actually get access to treatments and things like that.
That's awesome. That's so wonderful. I'm definitely excited to hear more about that. And hopefully, I'll connect with you and to learn more about that as you learn about that too, because that sounds interesting. And I think that's definitely a growing field. And hopefully, we'll see that here in the States too.
Yeah, it's I'm right at the tippy beginning, but I think life is about learning, and it's something that I'm going to learn in the new year.
That sounds awesome. I just wanted to thank you again for coming on the show, for sharing your expertise with us, for sharing your knowledge and advice. This has been just such an amazing conversation. And I just thank you so much again. And I'm wishing you well for the new year and holidays, and good luck in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. I mean, it's so great to see you, and I'm so excited and happy for you, and being able to keep up with everything that's going on. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, super excited to have been here.
Thank you so much again. Well, everybody, that's it for season 2. Be sure to join us for season 3. We start back on January 8th with nurse and author Scholastica Bassi. So, everybody, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy your holidays, and I will see you all again on January 8th. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.